We all work hard for our money, whether we have some passive income coming in or we got a paycheck. When it comes to investing, we want to put our money somewhere where it's going to grow and benefit us, not only in the short term, but also in the long term. However, deciding, well, what stocks to buy, ETFs, index funds, it can just seem kind of overwhelming, and some people just don't know how to make the right choice. For example, people might say, oh, put your money in real estate. Other people might say, oh no, buy cryptocurrency. And it can just be confusing on where you should actually target some of those investments. So today, I'm going to share with you my philosophy on some specific tech stocks that I buy that I think are going to be good in the long term. You're not going to want to miss this. So you heard right. Deciding where to put your investment money is something that I love talking about, but I don't always get into on this specific channel, individual stocks. And the reason for that is I don't have a crystal ball. I like to buy individual stocks in a brokerage account and sort of just hold them long term. And just a reminder that I am not an investment professional. I'm not giving out advice here. This is simply just for your own education, and I'm offering you up my opinion. And what I think some of the best stocks to buy right now that I don't have many of are tech stocks. Oh, and real quick, before we dive into those specific stocks, don't forget to hit that little thumbs up button and give this video a like. It helps with that YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it, so thanks. Okay, the reason I wanted to make a video about tech stocks is specifically with the pandemic kind of changing the way we are using technology. Some of these advancements, some of these companies are becoming like household names. And honestly, before I didn't really even think to like buy any of them. So not only do I see value, but I also see potential in growth for the tech stocks that we're about to get into. For example, think of a stock like Zoom. Pre-pandemic, it was right around like $70 a share. And all of a sudden it jumped up to over 500. Why? Because most people are now doing tele or video style conferences, and it was one of the major players in making advancements from everything. So like teachers could, teach remotely to people just keeping in touch. So I'm not gonna go into detail on Zoom, but I just wanted to give you that for example on why we're focusing on these tech stocks. So the first stock on my list, some of you might see this coming, is Palantir. Palantir is a company that helps other businesses, the government, with becoming better using data. I'm not going to say like it's a mystery about exactly what they do, but the fact that they have all of these government contracts and they have been in the news quite a bit recently has kind of sparked my interest. Specifically, I've heard reports of them basically helping car companies build like safer cars, or helping with the distribution of vaccines when all of that was going on. And so for a company to have the ability to generate revenue by helping all these different types of businesses, I think in the long term is very, very interesting. Now, I said it at the start of the video, this is not like a get rich quick stock. I think it's one that is going to have some volatility, and I think it's a very good idea, simply in my opinion, to buy and hold it long term. What I expect to see is that slow but steady growth, so hopefully it'll pay off in the long run. The next stock on my list is Alibaba Enterprises. It seems like this Chinese-based company has their hands in a lot of pots. For example, they deal with retail, e-commerce. They even have their own like payment system. And it may not be a household name here in America. I'm guessing many of you have heard of it though, but it is definitely a huge player internationally. One of the things I like to look for in individual stocks is just growth. And you could go back like a 5-year growth plan. And it's tough to honestly find another company that has the 5-year growth of Alibaba Enterprises. They have they have so many like multinational businesses around the world that it'll be very interesting to see how they continue to grow, what other businesses they acquire. So again, I'm looking to buy this and hold it long term. Another stock that has been extremely popular because of the quarantine and the pandemic is Peloton. You can't see like just outside this video here, but my wife has a spin bike. She's probably, if she's listening to this, thinking to herself, well, if you're recommending Peloton, why don't we get one? Well, I don't want to pay that monthly subscription fee, but in terms of a stock pick, I really do like this company. If you're not familiar, they not only produce like treadmills and spin bikes, but they also produce online content like workouts that have this real sense of community. Like their instructors make people feel like they can connect with a friend and get a good workout in. And people even like pride themselves on wearing the apparel. With gyms being shut down and people working out from home, they saw their stock go up, and then they saw their stock go down. I'm not sure when you're actually watching this, but let's say there's another wave of shutdowns. I think that this company is positioning itself to help people stay in shape and feel connected to an online community. So if we find ourselves, if people are having this, gyms close again, I think Peloton stock is just going to continue to go up. Now let's keep this thing going. The next stock I'm going to talk about, you may have never even heard of. I know that it's popular on YouTube, and it is Jumia. Jumia is like an online marketplace. Think of almost like Amazon basically, but for Africa. So think you can buy electronics, fashion. It's basically like a hybrid of like Etsy meets Amazon, and it also has a goal of helping people who live in Africa. So it's a company that has an interesting business model that I can get behind. And for those of you that are buying full shares, not like slices or fractional shares, it's actually pretty affordable because at the time of this recording, it's hovering right around $15, $20. So if we could all go back like 10 years and purchase Amazon stock, we would have made out like crazy. And think of the potential a company like Jumia has if it blows up like Amazon did. So some of you might go, this one's a little risky, but with risk comes reward. And even if you see the volatility of this stock going up and down, you can kind of ignore that if you're like basically buying it for the long term. And my final two recommendations I'm kind of going to combine here because they have like some similarities that you'll see in 1 second. And those two stocks are going to be Penn National Gaming and DraftKings. Now, no pun intended, but both of these stocks are a bit of a gamble because they deal with online gambling, like betting. And in many states, that's currently illegal, but there are legislation and bills that are hopefully going to be passed in the near future that's going to make it much more common to be able to log on to a website and place a bet on any sport or any event that you like. Therefore, if this legislation gets passed, you go from like having a handful of states where these companies can operate to all of a sudden having more than half of America be able to have legalized gambling online. At the time of this recording, Penn National Gaming is down from its all-time high. So in my opinion, it's a good time to buy because you buy low. And the DraftKings stock has just been kind of like hovering right around a pretty affordable price, $40, $50, but it's showing some steady, slow growth. So both of these companies, if that legislation gets passed, are going to be hopefully fun and interesting to kind of keep an eye on long term. A couple of key takeaways. If you ask yourself, is it a good idea to invest in tech stocks, then you are probably having a similar mindset to me right now. Like, gosh, with this pandemic, there's all these different types of companies that are potentially ready to grow even more because of how the world is interacting with one another. We're talking about fitness classes online. We're talking about online gambling and betting. We're talking about, businesses helping other businesses using data that is tracked online. So again, I'm not an investment professional. This is only my humble opinion, but the stocks that I'm about to review, I think are good buys. I'm going to add them to my portfolio. And of course, I like to just buy and hold long term. So that's the plan for me. In no particular order, we talked about Palantir, kind of an interesting company to track with all their government and business-to-business contracts. We talked about Alibaba Enterprises. This Chinese-based company is international, multinational, and they kind of have their hands in a lot of different pots, and I think it would be a good one to watch long term. Peloton is interesting. We do use the app here in the house. It's something that is a favorite of my wife's. And people are getting used to working out at home. So it'd be interesting to see this company be the leader in that space. Jumia is like the Amazon company in Africa, and it has a really interesting mission. So I want to keep an eye on them, and hopefully their growth explodes over the next 5 to 10 years as well. And then my last two were Penn National Gaming and DraftKings. As legislation changes, if these companies are poised to jump on the legalization of online gambling and betting, then I see growth in their future. All right, let me know down in the comments if you like any of these stocks, or maybe you have 5 of your favorites that you want me to talk about in a future episode. I don't always make individual stock videos because I just buy and hold long term, but I will leave a link down below in the description to my portfolio. I buy slices, fractional shares with M1, so you can take a look at all the other stocks. And if you are interested in some of my other stock related content, then I'll leave a link down below to my website as well. I have some videos and blog posts on should I buy like Amazon stock. I think we talked about cruise stock before. So again, go check that out. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and drop a little like down below for this video. It really helps me. I appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.